Our uncles and aunties, the Townsends, have a strong family bond and an ethos of helping each other along life's journey. Martin was deeply loved by his siblings, and this sentiment was reciprocal. Following are some snippets of the personalities and achievements of his siblings. Many displayed similar characteristics: God fearing, determined, decisive, talented, and ambitious. Several of his siblings participated in the whirlwind of changes in the aftermath of World War II, 1950 to 60s. As the major economies rebounded from the Depression and labor demand soared as industries reopened. It would be the heyday for migration to the USA and the UK, the era of the Windrush generation to the UK. People arriving in the UK between 1948 1971 from the Caribbean countries were labeled the Windrush generation. The name is derived from the HMT Empire Windrush passenger ship docked at Tilbury, which transported workers from Jamaica, Trinidad, and Tobago. Sorry. Not yet. And other islands to the UK. June 22, 1948 marked the start of the post-war immigration boom, which was to change British society. Migrants from the Caribbean region came in droves to a country that promised prosperity and employment. The Windrush generation arrived in Great Britain as immigrants under the Immigration Act of 1948, which granted unskilled workers and some veterans from the islands entry into the country and British citizenship. Thousands of Jamaicans, Trinidadians, and Barbadians traveled with their children, no passport required, to Great Britain to work and begin a new life. They brought with them their music, religion, clothing style, food, social institutions, and customs that deeply influenced British culture. Later, they were recognized raised as Afro Caribbean British citizens. Oh, sorry. 5 of Martin's siblings were Windrush migrants in search for a better life. Christopher McLennan, his brothers. Christopher McLennan was his eldest brother, who was born in 1917 and died at the age of 12. Followed by Charles, who resented the hard work and left for Kingston to fend for himself at an early age. He was different, with a deviant spirit that did not sit well with his parents, especially Grandpa, the disciplinarian. He frequently returned home like a prodigal son when hardship hit him. In later years, he matured and the relationship with his father improved. I mean that. He had many children. He was a small, ignorant. What Itinerant mean? Huh? What that mean? Oh, he was a small itinerant trader in Panslands, and later a vendor of ice cream, icicles, and fudge. If he saw us on the road coming from school, we would be sure to get a fudge or icicle from his portable icebox on the back of his bicycle. Both his brothers, Martin and Fred, were his rock of refuge when he fell on hard times, and they always assisted in a variety of ways, including helping him to obtain jobs with reputable companies. But he was just not able to keep those jobs. Josiah was a prized son. He was admired for his physical appearance, his strength, and his cooperative spirit. The family had a great promise for him. It was not to be. He died at the age of 25. Alexander McCleary, the 6th son, took over the reins when Martin joined the army in 1944 as assistant on the Flamsteed Estate Hotel. But this was short-lived when he went on the farm workers program in the USA and later migrated to the UK, where he lived for over 40 years before returning for retirement in Jamaica. Norman Ivan went along a similar migration path. He too was recruited by the army, later migrated to the UK and lived there for over 25 years prior to returning home. He had pursued professional training in the UK, and on his return to Jamaica was employed as the personal manager at the public transportation company until his retirement. Him they bring the two bus them up here? Him? Okay. Fred, the last of 14 children for our grandparents, was the first of the family to benefit from secondary university education. He was a career public health inspector who rose to the position of Deputy Chief Public Health Department, Kingston and St. Andrew. Later, his entire family, his wife Dorrit, and the 4 boys migrated to the USA, where he continued in his specialized field of public health. Martin deeply missed his youngest brother. They shared such wonderful conversations at our family meetings at Fred's lovely home on Hillview Terrace, Kingston 19. These meetings would go way into the late night hours as they discussed their childhood, religion, and world affairs. So, we recall the long nightly discussions about socio-economic conditions in Jamaica and the civil rights movements in the USA, and its powerful, charismatic leader Martin Luther King, MLK, in the 1960s. As children, we benefited from these informed and animated discussions on world affairs. His sisters, Martin's sisters, all did fairly well in their respective endeavors. They got married, pursued their occupations, and raised their families. Leonis, Aunt Cooley, is the only sister who did not have children of her own. She more than compensated by being a loving and caring aunt to her many nieces and nephews. Her husband, Mr. Farrell, was a permanent worker at the Water Commission. As a child, Leonis learned to play the piano and became the church organist. Francella, the eldest daughter, had disappointed her father. He did not approve of her early marriage to one of his groundsmen. The first child born before marriage was adopted by the grandparents and named Ernest Townsend. She later eloped and married her lover, Mr. Burton, and had many children. You remember them people here, sir? Want a rag? Want a rag? Right now? Hold on. Alright. Francella, the eldest daughter. Oh. Chrisnella, sister Chris, married Reuben Edwards and had 12 children who all became responsible citizens. Her marriage was approved by Grandpa, as the Edwards were a well-established family in the Canaan Mountain Baptist Church. Reuben's father, Charles Edwards, had donated a sizable plot of land for the building of Canaan Mountain Baptist Church. The remains of some of the Edwards family members are interred in the burial plot at the back of the church. Most of Sister Chris' children migrated during the 1960s and 70s and are now citizens of the USA and Canada. Some of her great grandchildren were lawyers, doctors, accountants, and professionals living in the diaspora. Gwendolyn was a favorite and beloved sister. She was described as a beautiful person both in appearance and character. Her wedding to Mr. Zedekiah Lee was a grand event for which Grandpa founded an elaborate reception at his Queen residence following the marriage ceremony in Kingston. Wow. So them walk from Kingston to Queen. Oh, yeah, with the cake and everything. Man. Mr. Lee, an established tailor in the Sunday school teacher at Bethel Gospel Hall, Kingston, had met his approval as a suitable partner for his beloved Gwen. They eventually migrated to the UK and had 4 children. Their eldest son, Lloyd, became a pilot and married an English lady. Aunt Gwen died in her early 50s, and her husband died the year following her death. Gwen's death took a toll on him. Their remains are interred side by side in England. They were a very close and loving couple. Both Ina and Linda participated in the Windrush migration to England in search of better opportunities. Linda, the last girl often referred to as the crybaby, met and married one Mr. Christian from St. Vincent. Met and married one Mr. Christian from St. Vincent. What a wonder mean? Eh? Me just never like him and rich. What I mean? Okay. What? When the police say them thing there? One Xavier Burchinson, alias Ray. Okay. With 12 children, she became a full-time housewife. Their cousins were all responsible professionals and skilled workers who made England their home. Auntie Ina was a dynamic and industrious lady, real Townsend spirit. She was the first of the siblings to travel to the Windrush to the UK, where she prospered. She married Mr. Stone, and by the late 1960s, she owned 2 lovely homes in middle income locations in the UK. After her divorce from Mr. Stone, she married Frank Blackwood and had two British-born children, Noel and Earl. In 1980, she returned to Jamaica, where she worked as the supervisor, hospital supplies at Nuttall Hospital for several years. She later relocated to Red Bank, New Jersey, USA, where she lived and worked as a nurse assistant until her passing. Got 19 minutes, sir. It was always a pleasure visiting her. She was high energy with a flair of celebrating life. Her home was always receptive to her nieces and nephews who benefited from her culinary skills. On her visits to New Jersey, she would always take the time to take her shopping and sightseeing. Okay, them this hot girl, you know, sir. Yeah, pretty too. She kind of favor Deborah, man. She kind of favor Uncle Bonnie Deborah. And this is Dennis. Huh? Nobody on vehicle pass. I got more picture. I want to head down. No, man, next door, I do work. More picture again, more picture again. Rod, I want to have a new bossy. Yeah. Left to right, Dennis, Peter, Peaches, Juanita, Gertrude, Desmond, no, Gertrude, Martin, Oswald Burchinson, Winsome, and Norma, and Dudley Edwards at Norma and Dudley Edwards wedding. Bossy, in a book, your boss. See, bossy, in a book. Boss. Yeah, man, in a suit, man. Tell you what, you know. As I tell you what, you know, just meditate on the phone, yeah? You are in a tanned jacket suit, 3-button suit with a bohemian tie, white shirt, leather pleated twisted belt. Huh? Yeah. Alright, here we go. More picture again. Huh? Okay. Page 50. Reflecting on the lives of our ancestors brought new meanings to James Weldon Johnson's Negro anthem. Lift every voice and sing till the earth and heavens ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let us rejoice and let our rejoicing rise. Let high as the listening skies. Wow, the listening skies. Bad. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the Huh? No problem. Long time in the writing now. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march until victory is won. Our ancestors live in our hearts and memories. As we revisited their trials and triumphs, their pain and their joy, we are encouraged by the fact that they are survivors and we are the manifestation of their prayers, aspiration, and hard work. They never lost hope of a new and bright day amidst the oppressive slave, colonial, and post-colonial systems. They survived, prospered, rose, and retained their dignity and identity. They lived, loved, and celebrated the divine gifts of life, family, and friends, such an indomitable spirit. They are our heroes, and who will live forever in our hearts. Grandpa Townsend was a patriarch, or Father Abraham, a family man of resilient faith and strength who communed consistently with God for mercy, guidance, and favor. He fortified his mind with memorized scriptures and biblical accounts of great leaders and Christians who trusted in God and triumphed over adversities. He often drew comparison of his struggles and existence to the wilderness experience of the Israelites and to God's love and mercy towards his chosen people, reassuring himself that this was the same God whom he served, faithful and unchanging, overcoming challenges and hardships was his natural response to the conditions of his time. An experienced agriculturalist, he was intimately attuned to nature, versed in the features of the changing seasons, when to plant, when to reap. God always bless him with a bounty of produce and supplies to feed his large family and to give away to other villagers. Creativity and self-sufficiency were a way of life. Grandpa and grandma lived simple, contented lives of trust and obedience in their Creator. He was particularly happy that he was a co-partner with God and other members in the construction of Canaan Mount Baptist Church at Dallas Castle. Gertrude, devoted and beloved wife and mother, was a prayer warrior and confidant to him and their children. And our father Martin was a simple country lad whom God blessed and favored with talents and strength. Through his endowed leadership ability. Sir, I reach iPhone down. iPhone level that reading this now down. Robert, so bring a phone for me now. Send a foreign. But him not do it that from week before last it for come. You hear from him? Through his endowed leadership ability, hard work and dedication, he rose to the rank of Regiment Sergeant Major in the Jamaica Defense Force and later became Director of Prisons of Jamaica. Him still there now? True. Next sentence. He was posthumously awarded the National Order for Meritorious Service. Yet he remained a humble and generous soul who had this huge capacity to love not only his family, but also his neighbors and associates. On occasions, he would claim that people are beautiful despite their fob. What is F-O-I-B-L-E-S? F-O-I-B-L-E-S. Beside that, phobes. Because we are all children of God. Sir, I'm hungry now. I need some food here. He was always willing to go the extra mile to assist the less fortunate. Margaret Reed Brown, our nanny, warrior, spirited lady of strength, resolve and beauty face all the circumstances of her life. I don't have it, sir. I forgot to eat something. Here? I don't have it in a mirror now. Done. Eh? No. Well, sign this off. Whoa, 5 people. Later on or tomorrow. Big up. We're reading to Father B. The book here. A beer book my family right, you know. Who know the foreign right. I'm person right 14. Check it out. Xavier Burchinson, Amazon. Check out some book them. Victories of Dallas Castle. Hang on in there. Light on their eyes. You know. Straight meds. And check out my music. See? Peace and love. Respect. Out. Goodbye. Thank you.